future's big business, whether it's for first homes, weddings, or for retirement. So, should we be giving our money to professionals who know what they're doing? Not necessarily so. That's according to Dr. Dirk Nitzsche of Cass Business School. I started by asking him what the importance of the mutual funds industry was.
I think the mutual fund industry is going to gain on importance over the next few years. We've seen loads of changes happening on the political side at the moment. More and more burden is going to be passed on to the individual to save for tuition fees, to save for their pension and so on. And one of the key vehicles to do this is to save via mutual funds. Some of the mutual funds are quite expensive, and one of the key issue here is now what is the performance of mutual funds, and that is really what we've investigated about the German market as well as about the UK market.
So I guess this is a critical question. Are the best money managers talented, or are they just lucky?
Well, that's a very good question. Now, if you look at the size of the industry, in the UK, we've got a few thousand mutual funds investors can choose from. In the US, the number is about 4,000. And even in Germany, there are 500-600 mutual funds an investor can choose from. Now, you would expect that a lot of those funds show some performance, alpha, if you like, which can be explained purely by luck. And that is precisely what we've investigated.
So from what you're saying, it sounds like investors have to think very carefully about whether they go with a mutual fund manager. Are some of them better off investing with index tracking funds?
Well, what we did is we've used a bootstrapping methodology in order to distinguish whether the performance can be explained by luck or by skill. And particularly for the German market, what we find that the well-performing funds, the vast majority, they're just lucky. Whereas if you look at the poorly performing funds, now I must say they are, well, I don't want to use the word skillfully bad, but they are really poor, and an investor would certainly want to avoid investing in those funds.
So it's quite a scary proposition. From what you're saying, mutual fund managers, they do particularly badly on one end of the scale, but on the other end of the scale, they're not particularly successful. They're not really consistently good at managing other people's money.
Absolutely right. And I think we also have to distinguish here between whether we look at the performance before or after fees. And now, some of those managers, they might generate a decent performance before a management fees, which can be up to 2%, is going to be deducted. Now, that means the manager looks fine. But if you look at the retail investor, there's nothing left over for the retail investor. And the retail investor would be much better off if they would invest in index tracking funds or any passive products, which are much, much cheaper.
So performance tables play a large part in helping people decide where to put their money, but should they really be following them?
If you look at a financial advisor or individuals, then there's quite a lot of evidence which suggests that investors prefer to invest new money into funds which show up high in league tables. That is, you might say, almost human nature. Now, if we look at the persistence of fund performance, then there is very, very little evidence which suggests that funds which have done well in the past, that they will do well in the future. Now, that will be one of our next research projects where we look at the persistence of fund performance in the UK, in the US, as well as in Germany.
Bill Gross, who's the founder of the world's biggest bond investor, PIMCO, he's always talking about the importance of keeping fees low. I'm guessing in the mutual funds industry, fees is also a big issue as well.
That's very interesting. Now, if you look, for instance, at the pension fund industry, and the pension funds, they invest the pension contributions in mutual funds, amongst other products. Now, if you look at someone who pays about £120,000 over a 40-year period into a pension fund, now it's not unusual that 70,000, maybe sometimes even up to £100,000 is being taken away from an investor's money as fees. That is absolutely astonishing. If you look at retail investors, it is very difficult to see where the fees are creamed off. And I think the regulator is asked here as well in order to protect retail investors much better.
Dirk Nitzsche, thank you very much.